now from AfricaCom 2023. I'm here with Nitesh Singh, Managing Director for Communications, Media and Technology at Accenture Africa. Hello, Nitesh.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. And you?
Good to be here, fantastic.
Perfect. AfricaCom 2023, second day. Today you were part of a panel about policies and shaping policies for more, let's say, digitalization, transformation, Africa.
Yes.
So what is your experience or what is your outlook as well on the market when we talk about policies, public sector, together with the private sector?
So I think from an African context, if you look at the early years of when telecommunications happened in Africa, I found the policies were flexible and faster, and they allowed, for the ICT sector and the telecommunications companies to, deploy faster to market. I feel over the last few years it's been a bit slow. So I think there definitely been tighter policy control, which like I said on the panel, I do believe there needs to be better private sector, public sector dialogue to ensure that all parties, are in this win-win mindset, and it's more flexible in today's age.
What would you say is the reason that we are now slowing down the pace in development and managing the issues we have on the continent?
So I think there is a few reasons. I think one is, if you look at where technology is and 4AR and how it's happening in Africa, it's happening very fast, faster than I think anyone would have thought it possible. And I think that causes a bit of probably more reflection from governments and regulators where they want to control the technologies coming in. The other thing I think they need to do, what's happening is a lack of understanding of what's happening. You don't want to hold back innovation. And I'm all for a regulated environment, but probably you need to learn faster about what's coming. And I think there's probably not much awareness of what's coming, which is probably causing this fear factor of let's over-govern, let's over-regulate these sectors. And I get it, we want to protect the citizen. That's really important. And you still can do that, but all I'm saying is try and get it done faster.
All right. I mean, we see a lot that the public sector is slowing down development when it comes to connecting the unconnected. We talk about infrastructure, we talk about affordability. Those things are not new. We know them already since the last 10 years, and you, especially with your experience. What would you say is the right way to go ahead to finally connect the unconnected? We are such a young continent where 50% of the population are below 30. So there is the strong need and demand for a go ahead and for development.
Yeah, so I think when you look at the unconnected, it's definitely the price point, the barrier to entry is still too high. So if I look at the continent, we need to look at how do we get the barrier to entry much lower. If you look at handsets and smartphone adoption in the continent, it's still very low. So we need to make sure that the right price points exist. We need to make sure that, there's, if you think about it, there's still a lot of taxes in different countries, and it makes it a lot harder for, that what you said to happen. Because if you're going to tax all these devices coming in, the price point, the barrier increases all the time. So again, it's about that partnership mentality. Do you need to tax these organizations? This is something I've been speaking to a number of executives about, to government about, is should we be giving zero tax to organizations like the hyperscalers and the telcos who are actually investing in these countries? Because if you do, maybe there's a better way to fund government and fund the economy. So I think that's probably one of the biggest barriers, is that mindset.
And when we see the continent, there are some countries they're doing well. They're much quicker in development. If you look at Rwanda or the other countries, don't you think there should be at this stage already a kind of a blueprint where others can say, look at this, that's how we can succeed? Or do you think there's a stubbornness in the countries where they say, again, no, we don't want to go in that direction?
That's a good point. I mean, look, if you look at the Rwandas of the world, as you know, right, they're modeling themselves on Singapore. I was in Tanzania a few weeks ago. Fantastic country, a female presidency there. Very open regulatory framework, fast to market, etc. I think that there needs to be more willingness to connect with countries in Africa. And what I mean by that, look, so yesterday when we hosted the panel, there were 4 or 5 countries on it: South Africa, Nigeria, Guinea, and some others. what we need is for them to be more connected. And I think if they're more connected and they work closer together, I think they can actually adopt things much faster. But that willingness to work together I think that needs to be fostered more. I don't believe it's as strong as it could be. And I think the likes of the Africa Union, SADC, all of those organizations play a part in how this needs to happen. I believe a lot more work needs to be done there, though.
That's an interesting point. I had in Kigali a conversation with Lucina Kone, the director of Smart Africa, who also they build a strong foundation in Africa to educate, to bring decision makers together and the private sector to make a change. So do you think that that's also a strong asset for Africa?
I absolutely believe there needs to be that forum, but I don't believe it's just something that happens at Mobile World Congress in Kigali. I believe there needs to be a more formal forum from a digital perspective where African countries are more connected. I don't believe that exists right now. You know, if you think about mobile money and transporting money across the continent, if you think about the whole citizenship and passports, digitally we should be quicker and doing things a lot faster, but we still need visas to travel from different countries in Africa. So it's simple things that need to be done, and I think if we get it done digitally, then we can definitely make it happen.
So, but overall, you're optimistic about the future and the outlook?
Very, very optimistic. I think if I look at the continent, and I've been to most of the countries again this year, I see a lot of development happening from east to west and now South Africa. I do believe that what is good to see is that many governments are welcoming the hyperscalers into their countries. If you think about the likes of Google and Microsoft and Amazon, they've landed their data centers a few years now in different parts of Africa, and South Africa and Cape Town has some data centers as well. So there's this willingness to work with these organizations. However, I think there needs to be more understanding of security, cybersecurity, data, because I think that's where when the hyperscalers come in, governments don't understand how will their citizens' data be better protected, and that's where these things become a bit murky and they slow things down. So I'm very positive. I see us, there are many countries in Africa that have 5G spectrum now, which is good. But that's almost yesterday now. I was in Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, and they're talking about 7, 8G now. So what we need is for spectrum to be ready when that comes out, for quicker allotments to be made, and for the buying and selling process to happen a lot faster. But the area I think where I think there needs to be more done. I'm still optimistic about it is skills development. We still an untapped continent from a skills perspective. So I do believe we can export technology, digital services, software from Africa to the rest of the world. And I think there we're playing below the radar. So I do believe Africa could be a net exporter of software. So the likes of what India has accomplished and the Philippines is doing, I believe we could do that in Africa. But I'm optimistic. I think there's some signs that there's skills development targeted in this area, which is going to help us. But very optimistic about the future. I think we're on the right track.
Interesting. I mean, with 5G, that was a big topic over the last, 5 to 10 years already. Everyone talked about 5G.
Yes.
So now the latest topic is AI.
Yes.
I mean, don't you think, or do you see that AI could have a deep impact on the industry, on one side to understand the network, to automate probably more the vast amount of data network and infrastructures collect in order to serve better, be more efficient, even more sustainable, especially in countries where you're facing load shedding and other energy problems?
Yes, 1000% yes to everything you've said. I think if you look at AI, the first thing is the adoption, and you do need proper regulatory control over AI. I think that's important. AI has been there for decades now. But I think in the public eye, it's burst onto the scene 6 months ago with ChatGPT, etc. Right? So everyone's a Gen AI expert now. Has probably put it into ChatGPT and what's Gen AI, right? But I think AI requires one to understand skills, and you need to immerse yourself in learning about what you're trying to achieve with AI. You need to have it well regulated. There's definitely benefits of using AI, and like, I'm also one who doesn't think AI is going to kill jobs and things like that. I think what you'll have is AI may look at menial tasks, but human beings are, will always, figure out smartly how to do something better. So I think there's going to be this coexistence of smart human beings working alongside AI that's going to foster new employment, new opportunities. But, AI on its own, I don't think it's the answer. I think AI governed properly through the right frameworks, whether it's in public or private sector, that's the kind of silver bullet for me. That's how this thing becomes effective. And we're already seeing it, the telcos are, which is my sector, the telecommunication sector, we're seeing a lot of that thinking now, self-healing networks, making sure that there's AI prevalent in the organization, in chatbots, in different parts of the business now, in finance, in HR, in technology, and we're seeing benefits to that, right? So I do believe it's not just a hot topic. I believe it's here to stay. I think we're at the early stages of AI adoption, but definitely lots of benefits.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That was Tech Africa News from AfricaCom 2023. You can find out more on techafricanews.com.